Usually when there is a plus model for a phone, they tend to differ in physical size, screen size, battery capacity, and charging speeds. But that can't really be said for the Realme 9 Pro series, as they do differ in more drastic ways. What's up guys, Anton here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the baseline Realme 9 Pro. Coming in at 16,990 pesos, you get a beautiful aesthetic that is nearly identical to its more expensive counterpart. Now for 7,000 pesos less than the 9 Pro Plus, can this phone stand on its own, or will it forever live in the shadow of its bigger brother? Now let's first start off with the build, where we do have the same Aurora green color as the Pro Plus, though this time it is made of plastic but still retains that elegant sparkle. Now on the left hand side, we do have the volume rockers and the dual SIM tray slot. On the top, we have a single microphone, and on the right hand side, we have the superior side-mounted fingerprint sensor. Now at the bottom, we have the typical mono speaker, USB-C port, microphone, and audio jack. Now I really like this move by Realme that both the Pro and the Pro Plus share an almost identical aesthetic, and from afar you can barely tell the difference, so that's definitely a plus for the baseline Realme 9 Pro. The hand feel is also pretty solid on this device, even though it is a full plastic build. At 195 grams, that extra bit of weight does make it feel a little bit more premium. Now on to the display. We are getting a 6.6-inch Full HD LCD display that goes all the way up to 120Hz, making for a super smooth scrolling experience. We always hype up OLED screens, but this LCD display served me just fine. In fact, I preferred this device when watching some shows on Netflix because some scenes in Snowpiercer, for example, are just so dark. And the backlight of the LCD display on the 9 Pro brightened up the image for me, so I could actually see the who, the where, and the whats of the scene. The LCD display also means that we are getting a physical side-mounted fingerprint reader. Now, I do prefer that since they are more accurate kahit pasmado ka like me. I did notice that when I use my left index finger, it would have a harder time reading my fingerprint, and sometimes kailangan pa ng take 2 or take 3. But if you are right-handed, reading the thumbprint on your right hand is super quick and reliable, so kung right-handed ka at hindi ka kaliwete, kagaya ko, you don't really have to worry about that. The LCD display makes this device much more affordable and allows it to go at super high refresh rates, but at the cost of battery life. Good thing we are getting a 5000 mAh battery on this device, and with the included 33-watt super dart charger, you can ensure you'll get a full day's worth of battery in just 30 minutes of charging. The PC Mark battery test rated this device to have an impressive 23 hours and 10 minutes of screen on time. And with Pokemon Unite, I noticed I would lose only 3 to 4% of battery life per game as compared to the much higher 5 to 7% I'd lose on my daily driver, so that is very nice to see. Now that long battery life is definitely aided by that 6nm Snapdragon 695, which makes loading apps pretty quick and allows you to run decent graphics at high frame rates when you're gaming. I played Pokemon Unite and Apex Legends Mobile on this device for about an hour each, and I really didn't experience that many drops in frame rates, so that's very nice to see. Now, Pokemon Unite runs perfectly well on this device, and with that long battery life, you can definitely grind long hours without experiencing any kind of thermal throttling. In fact, I was able to screen record, and that wasn't too taxing on the Snapdragon 695, so that is good to see as well. Now, Apex Legends Mobile, on the other hand, is a much more demanding game, and we do have options in terms of graphics, with only the very highest textures being unsupported. You can still run the game in the high frame rate setting for quite some time, but do expect some hitching here and there, but nothing that will impede your gaming experience. Now, these benchmarks show that this device is very competitive in this price range in terms of performance, and my overall experience was enjoyable and consistent, so I can definitely agree with these numbers. Now, for memory, we are getting just 8GB of RAM and 128GB of non-expandable storage. Launching apps on this device is pretty quick, and switching between several apps and multitasking was speedy and reliable. Now for the cameras, we are getting a 64MP f1.8 main shooter and an 8MP f2.2 ultra-wide. Then there's a 2 megapixel macro. We don't talk about macro. Okay, camera quality does give a little more than what you'd expect in this price range, pumping out great looking shots in good and not so good lighting conditions. There are some variances in white balance, especially when switching between the main and ultra-wide lenses, but no deal breakers here. Nighttime photography and low light situations do still yield fuzzy shots, but they do make up for it with wonderful colors and brighter images, bringing out details that I never would have noticed with my naked eyes. The 16 megapixel selfie camera is quite lackluster in the detail department, but the color science of realme really made up for it, so the lack of sharpness actually gives it a more stylized look, like a Polaroid or film. Now, when it comes to video, I don't think I picked up on any stabilization, but the videos produced were still vibrant and crisp, even if it is capped at 1080p 30 FPS. Now, the camera experience as a whole was really enjoyable for me because the processing of photos on this device is really quick. One of the pet peeves that I have with smartphones, especially budget smartphones, is that when you take a photo, you'd have to keep still for it to be a sharp shot. That is not the case with the Realme 9 Pro, even though this is the baseline model, so camera experience is definitely up there. Now, in my opinion, the OIS on the more expensive Pro Plus version is a game changer for taking super detailed shots and low light nighttime photography. And that camera upgrade, I think, is the only reason you should be spending that extra 7,000 pesos on. Well, luckily for you, you can make the Realme 9 Pro even more affordable by reducing it by 2,000 pesos if you purchase via the Realme official store on Lazada, coming to a total of 14,990 pesos. To me, that is a total steal, and this early bird price is only available until the 18th of March, so definitely check it out right after this video. Now, if e-commerce isn't really your thing, you can also pre-order this device from March 16 to the 25th in Realme's official stores and partner dealers nationwide. So that's about it for the Realme 9 Pro, and it only disappointed me in one thing, and that is the haptics. They are subpar at best, but that is nothing compared to everything else you are getting on this super well-rounded mid-range performer. Now, let me know if you liked the video. Make sure to let me know down in the comments. Now, also make sure to leave a like, a sub, and make sure to hit that notification bell button to stay updated with the next video here at Unbox. Once again, my name is Anton, and I'll see you guys next time. We don't talk about macro. Okay.